How to be productive. If you make a simple YouTube search, I bet there will appear 1000 plus videos, and I can say that even though I haven't searched. And similarly, if you ask ChatGPT or Gemini or any other AI model, it will provide you with tons of information and techniques on this topic. Well, my purpose in this video is to share with you a simple, tried and tested model that I have been using in my life for about a year now, with the hope that it will serve the same for you. So let's start. First, you need a goal or goals, and second, you will need a system, and that's it. You're almost there. Now, you may be thinking, why I haven't mentioned motivation? After all, it's very crucial, and there is an entire industry running on milking the term. Well, I will come to that because it actually is crucial. But before that, let me give a summarized example of what I am going to share. Imagine you want to reach a destination. In order to reach that destination, first you need to decide the destination. Second, you will need a path that leads you to the destination. Third, you will need a vehicle that you are going to use to travel on that path. And last but not least, who is going to drive that vehicle? Of course, it's you, motherfucker. You are the one who is going to drive the vehicle. And if you think somebody else is going to do that on your behalf, then may God send that person soon into your life. So let's start with you. You are the driver. So you have to be fit enough to drive the vehicle. First, fix your sleeping and waking time. Fix your biological clock, your circadian rhythm. Just do it. The benefits are numerous. Next, set a long-term goal, an ambition that you want to achieve or an ideal version of yourself that you wish to become after 5 or 10 years. If you haven't figured that out, then what are you doing? Just turn off this video and question your life. That's a joke, but you should take it seriously. Again a joke, but please think about it. The sooner you decide, the better. Next, understand your biological abilities and limits. If you can't sit for an hour straight doing a job, try to break it into your segments, followed by a break. For example, you do the job for 30 minutes, then take a small break. Or if you don't have problems sitting for 2 hours straight doing your chores, then do it. You are the one who has to figure out what works for you. You are the one who has to understand your ultradian rhythm. Yes, there is something called the ultradian rhythm. But I am not going to explain what that is because sometimes it's better that you do some research on your own. One day I will explain why it's better and more effective when you learn things on your own rather than just watching a 10 minutes YouTube tutorial on how to be productive. Now, let's move to setting your goals. How are you going to do that? Here comes the SMART technique. Use this technique to set your goals. SMART: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. Specific: you need to specify your goals. Measurable: your goal should be quantifiable. Achievable: make sure your goal is realistic and doesn't sound superficial or impossible to achieve. Relevant: it should align with your long-term goal or with your routine, or it should align with your values and priorities. Time bound: set deadlines for your goals. For example, instead of saying I will study, say I will study for 40 minutes at 6 pm 5 days a week for the next 3 months in order to complete my syllabus. Another example, let's say you want to become a doctor, an engineer, a psychologist, a neurobiologist, a lawyer, an auditor, yada yada yada. So to achieve and be a goat in your field, it requires a lot of studying. Instead of saying I will study, first set a milestone like completing a unit or two, and after that, I will study 2 times a day, 1 hour each for the next month to finish 1 unit for each subject. Now let's build the system. Why do you need a system? because motivation alone won't help you achieve your goal. It's the system that will keep you consistent. Just create a system and serve yourself into that system. And just like any other system, every system needs effort to keep it functioning. So keep that in mind. To build a system, you need some tools. And in this case, your phone is going to be your toolbox because your phone has everything you need inside it. Now I'm going to share with you some tools that when combined you can use to build a system. First tool, the alarm clock method. Simple. Set alarms with a note of the job you want to get done in your day. It will act as a reminder, which is important because most of the time we forget things. So this method will help remind you of your to-do list. Second, journaling. Start journaling. It's a very good habit you can develop. It serves as data which is crucial for making assessments and improvements. You can use any notes app, but I would suggest something else which is more effective. Having said that, let's move to our third tool. Create a community in your WhatsApp. In that community, you can create different groups. A group for sending your daily journal, a group for your monthly goals, a group for setting your long-term goals, and a group for sharing your progress and more like that. Why create a community in your WhatsApp? Because when you make a commitment public, it increases the likelihood of fulfilling that commitment. In this case, creating a WhatsApp community with your friends. Fourth, use the digital well-being app. It's inbuilt in every Android phone. Use it to set timers for all those apps that takes an enormous amount of time from your precious life. And if you are lucky enough to find an app that provides all these facilities, feel free to use that. Next comes the motivation part. Doing your job and getting not rewarded will leave you with no good reason to do it again and again. After all, a vehicle needs fuel to move. Motivation is the fuel in our analogy. You can use the reinforcement technique to keep yourself motivated. Most of the time, your results will automatically motivate you to do the job, so assessing your progress from time to time is important. In addition to that, you can also gift something to yourself after you complete a certain goal. For example, let's say you achieved your goal of completing your syllabus, the example we used earlier. You can plan a mini trip with your friends or gift yourself a branded pen or a new dress. This will motivate you and keep the flame burning. Okay, let me summarize it. First, fix your sleep cycle. Second, set your goals using the SMART technique. Third, create a system using various tools. You can do it on your own, use what I have provided, or use an app if available and suitable. Fourth, reward yourself when you achieve your goals. And that's it. I hope this video helps.